Ladies and gentlemen, so much of our history has been buried, and there are so many untold stories that are out there, but so many of us don't know what those stories are. So, this is a very extraordinary event that occurred back in 1928. So, these were five Black women who rode on bikes from New York City to Washington, D.C. in 1928. So this journey began on April 6, 1928. Five Black women set out to ride 250 miles from New York City to Washington, D.C. Their journey took the women 3 days with overnight stops at the YWCA. And they stopped at different YWCAs to sleep overnight. So they did not do, a straight run through. So their journey actually made the newspaper back then because it was so extraordinary. And at that time, they never heard of anybody going quite that long distance on a bike. So the women were accomplished women, these women all had careers. So Leola Nelson was the director of physical education at the 137th Street branch of the YWCA. Velma Jackson was a nurse at Gramercy Hospital. Ethel Miller was a public school teacher. Mary Lou Jackson and Constance White were both college students. The first leg of their journey was 110 miles. So they went from New York City to the city of Philadelphia, and they did that nonstop from New York City to Philadelphia. And this is what they did on the first day of their trip. They went 110 miles. So their story was uncovered by Monica Garrison, founder of Black Girls Do Bike. Garrison writes that she had never heard of the historic trip until she began her own research, which led her to find the original newspaper clipping documenting the event. According to comments on Instagram, which Garrison shared her discovery, she was not the only person that was unfamiliar with the story of these five women. One commenter wrote, "Never heard of them, but I'm not surprised. We do everything." We most certainly have. I do agree with that. And it is a shame. These are the kind of stories we should be able to tell our children about. And these are the things they should be writing reports on instead of Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and Frederick Douglass. Not that there's anything wrong with those three people, but the way they present it in school, you would think those were the only three that ever did things in history, and nobody else has done anything. And our history is given to us by three Black people: MLK, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. And these folks are picked by people that don't look like us, and they're dictating what we can and cannot hear. It was like that when I was in school, and to this very day, it is still like that. And this story is a reminder that if you're not teaching your children and your grandchildren history, you really need to start doing it. It is pertinent. You see what's going on in Florida, and don't think for one moment that it won't spread to other states. If they can take us completely out of history, you think they won't hesitate to do it? Of course they will. Of course they will. They can't stand hearing our history because it makes them look negative. And you wouldn't look negative if you didn't do so many negative things. So, CRT is really your own doing. And the way I see it, you gonna F everything up and then you don't want to hear about the history. Wow, talk about unrealistic. That's very unrealistic. But just because they don't want to hear something, it does not mean it can't be taught at home. And it really should be, so your kids can get a bigger and more broader understanding of so many events have occurred, but they are hell bent on us not hearing about it. Now, what's so awful about this story? Not unless you don't want the story told because white women didn't do it first. Maybe that's why you don't want the story told. But nevertheless, y'all, please tell me what you think about these outstanding Black women that took a journey on a bike and went 250 miles. Sounds extraordinary to me. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.